You know,
Oh my God, yeah, we're
I've been,
live.
I've been
Okay.
preparing for this, man. I've been
What's
preparing
that?
for this. I've been doing homework, man.
Yeah, well, our last video was pretty
Yeah,
good, right?
man, not really.
People seem
I
to
thought
enjoy
so.
it. Yeah.
I've got theories upon theories upon theories about this shit, man.
So the main theme is football, though, right? So, guys, this week, so
Yeah.
we've seen Man City going on and winning the league, albeit pipping Liverpool to the league, and then they're going to win the FA Cup.
I took the L. I take the L. It's fine.
Yeah, you'll get over it. They took the Carabao Cup earlier on, a few months ago. So the question is, right? Well, first of all, Vincent Kompany retired from City, and then everyone's saying that he's such a great player, he's such a legend. And this is what made me think about what makes a player a legend at a football club.
No.
Do you think? Because I think he's been there for like 11 years, but about 4 years he was injured for half the time, right? I know that, and I want to know the difference between an iconic player at a club, a legend, and a cult hero. But what do you think about Vincent Kompany? Where would he fit in that?
I don't think. I mean, I go by the process of elimination. I don't think he was a cult hero. Was he a legend, or what was the other one?
Just an iconic player for a club, because I would put legend as the top status in that. Do you know what I mean?
How long was he at City for?
11 years, 2008.
Okay, I mean,
and he predated the Abu Dhabi takeover.
Yeah, I think would I consider him an icon? I don't know if I'd say iconic, because I think when you think of iconic players, you're thinking that they did it on all levels, just across the board, different teams, maybe different leagues. That for me is I think Ronaldo will go down in history as an iconic player because he's done it throughout the leagues, and to an extent he did it with Portugal. Messi will go down as that's a tough one, but I think going back to the Kompany, I think I'd say he'll be known as probably a legend, not iconic, but I think he'll be remembered. I mean, for what he's done.
He will be a club legend. I don't think.
Yeah.
An international legend. He's a club.
No.
Legend. I mean,
yeah.
He's a club legend. I think Vincent Kompany is boring, to be honest, but I think that. I was thinking about this. Yeah. Since Faze put the gave us the subject. Yeah, and I thought to myself, yeah. How do you classify a legend? And Darnell, what you said was really, really cool. It's when they've done it. Yeah, and done it means they've achieved at all levels. Paolo Maldini, yeah, an absolute legend. Cafu, yeah, Seedorf, in some respects, a legend.
Yeah.
Won like X number of European, I think 3 European Cups, whatever, with different teams and all that stuff. Ronaldo, a legend because he dragged Portugal to the European Championship. And he's not Portugal expected to be in these competitions, or much less the finals. So that is a combination of talent, will. So you got the talent, you got the will, the mental strength, and there's a certain amount of longevity as well. But what I see now is people are saying such and such is a legend because of longevity. Because football is such a short-term game these days. Managers get sacked out after X number of months. Players, if they lose form after a few games, they're immediately put on the scrap heap. There's a lot of short-termism in football currently. Yeah. So just the fact that somebody's in the team for 11 years, yeah, he's done well, yeah, but he's not the greatest centre-back that there's been in that period of time.
That's the point. Yeah. Exactly.
So he's just been there 11 years, and they've won a whole load of trophies. Plus, in that 11 years, if there was no funding from the Arabs, if that money didn't come in, would he still be a legend? That's the question. That's the question.
What do you mean?
If in that 11 years, because he came there just before the Arab money started flowing, and they turned into the team that they are. But if the Arabs chose a different club, not City, but Kompany stayed there 11 years, forget about winning stuff, whatever, would he still be a legend? based on talent,
Yeah.
will, all of that.
So
I'd
you're
say
saying
no.
for some players, it's more about the trophy cabinet and the longevity equals legend rather than talent equals legend.
No. I'm saying it's perception. It's not the players, it's perception. There's one perception, which I subscribe to, which is talent plus the will to win at any cost. Yeah. Plus, which hopefully will translate to trophies. That is legend status. Yeah. And there's a little bit of longevity as well as in there as well. Maldini, etc. I think Lothar Matthäus is another one. All these legends, icons. Yeah. And they're remembered for their time, and they transform teams. Look at Maradona at Napoli, transform that team. So there's local legends, there's national legends, and then there's international legends. So a local legend will be Juninho at Middlesbrough. The man's considered a legend because he was one of the first. He was a international, Brazilian international that signed for a club that would never expected to sign him, and he transformed that team. He's a local legend. He's not an international. He's a local legend. Cafu is an international legend. That man is rocking up to 5 World Cups.
Exactly.
And winning most of them.
You're right. You're right.
Dani Alves for me is a fucking legend. Dani Alves and you've got positional legends as well. So no, but the legend is either local, national, and or international. Look at Lee. What's his name? Who's that Swans Southend player many years ago? Not Lee Chapman.
Yeah, the one with all the mad skills and
Yeah. For a time, he was a fantastic player. So look at Letitia. Letitia is a wicked example.
Exactly. And that's who I was.
Letitia, man, the guy had skills. Right. Why is he a legend in Southampton? Because he stayed at Southampton. He's a local legend.
But he never. I mean, for me, I think Letitia will always be on the tip of people's lips when you think of talent and skill, because I mean, you'll always see, like top 100 best goals of the Premier League, and Letitia, you'll always see Yeboah up there. That 2 goals that he scored, I think one of them was.
I love Yeboah.
I mean, blew out his
Liverpool, right?
I mean, blew out his knee. I mean, David James, by the time he saw the ball, it was going to be back of the net. But at the same time, like for me, Letitia, as you said, he'll be a local legend. But I think internationally, whether it was because he didn't get the opportunities or he just never stepped up to that level, but everybody remembers him for what he's done at Southampton as opposed to maybe what he did for England.
Definitely.
I mean, I think that if you look at Wayne Rooney versus Gary Lineker, Wayne Rooney, he's obviously broke Lineker's record. Lineker scored a hat-trick in the semi-final of the World Cup. I think Lineker is more of a legend than Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney scored most of his goals against bloody Macedonia and these Muppets.
I know.
Lineker dragged his team in some cases. He had the will. That whole team in the early 90s had the will to win, and they were stuffed with legends. They didn't win anything, but in terms of it's also the entertainment value, what they mean to you as a person can become legendary.
I mean, I agree, and that's why I think when you look at the legendary status and you look at iconic, then you kind of take it to another level, and there are few who will remain on that platform as iconic. I mean, we have Pele and Maradona as legends, and maybe we use the term loosely as legends because, once a footballer's done well or they're retired or they've done maybe 11 or so seasons, they're saying, oh, we'll remember the legend. Like, I mean, Frank Lampard's seen as a legend. Frank Lampard at Stamford Bridge, you'll have Lampard, the legend. He'll be known as that.
But what do you think about that?
Do I think Lampard was a legend?
Outside of Stamford Bridge.
And also, I think actually people use the term legend if they've set records. That's something I have clearly noticed. If they set records, it will be like, you'll be remembered as a legend because you set a record until the next person breaks your record. Do I think Lampard was a legend? I think he did it for both England and he did it for Chelsea, and even did it at City. So I think he'll be a local and possibly international legend, but more so a local legend for especially what he did at Chelsea. But it helps the fact that the players who were around him, they were great players, and Abramovich came in under the time that he was playing. So there was an insurgence of money into that Chelsea team. So he was surrounded by great players. I mean, you look at Lampard at all different times. He was playing with Ballack.
Yeah.
You know, you had Drogba who he could pass. You know, as you had Makaleli. You know, you had a lot of players who surrounded Lampard. But you know what? At times he took it on his shoulder, and he was their penalty taker. So at times his scoring record has been good, but it helps if you're the penalty taker. But I think he would be. I think I'd consider him a legend for Chelsea, as they do.
No, because then for me, like Farah said, there's local legends and then there's international legends and there's Premier League legends, isn't it? So there's certain players that absolutely lit up the Premier League, and you're going to say they're like universally they'll be known as legends, right?
Yeah.
Players like Thierry Henry, you know, Dennis Bergkamp, Cantona, things like that. Because Cantona, I mean, like he was with us for what, I don't know, 7 years, 6 years.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like company like 11 years, but he's still a legend for his talent and what he won and what he brought to the team.
But Cantona, again, what he did was, you know, being a legend, you transform the team around you.
Yeah.
When Cantona, if there was no Cantona, there'd be no Man United today. Today's version of Man United. Man United wouldn't have won anything.
Yeah.
Cantona transformed United and the players around him. Yeah. There's no United and all these trophies without Cantona.
Yeah.
He's a catalyst for all of that.
Yeah. Definitely. Because then you look, but then you can look at what I want you to talk about as well, which is legendary teams or the greatest teams in the Premier League and even abroad. Greatest teams in general are, would you say they're full of legends? Because you look at the treble winning, because basically the argument is that this City team is possibly the greatest Premier League side of all time, right? But then I'm thinking, but then people saying their treble doesn't have a European trophy inside of it, whereas the Liverpool treble that they did had a European trophy inside of it. The United one had, which makes it even that team even greater that they did it in Europe. Would you say?
But it's an oxymoron. You can't say a team is the greatest Premier League side of all time when it doesn't have a European trophy, because you're defining it as the Premier League. You're saying it's the greatest Premier League team of all time. That's got nothing to do with European trophies. That's purely the Premier League of domestic trophies.
Yeah.
If you're saying is it the greatest British or English team of all time, then that can encompass European trophy. Yeah. For me, I don't know about you, D, but for me, the greatest Premier League team of all time in the Premier League era since 1992 is Arsenal, the Invincibles.
The Invincibles.
Yeah.
But does that make? I don't know. But people will always refer to them as the greatest team. I mean, collectively as a group of players, they were a great team. I mean, you look at every position, ranging from the goalkeeper to the striker. Individually, they were a great team. Because they went invincible, does that make them a great team? I don't know, because if Liverpool hadn't lost to City this season, we would have been an invincible team. Okay, and saying that, we would have won the league.
And we would have been the greatest.
But would we have?
Yeah, I think so. What to go through a league season without losing a game? Yeah. Even this City team can't do it.
True, but I think also that even if they did it, I mean, yeah, I get that, but I think the season that Arsenal won, there were a lot of inconsistent teams, just like the season that Leicester won the league. Like Leicester shouldn't have won the league, but they won it. Does it make them? Did it make them a great team? Not necessarily. I just think that there were a lot of inconsistent teams. That's why Leicester, to an extent, won the league, because ideally, on paper, they weren't necessarily a great team.
Yeah, there was a vacuum that they had to fill. Somebody had to win it.
But I mean, I get what you're saying. To go throughout the season without losing the game, yeah. I mean, people might say it's 90 minutes, but that's a lot can happen in 90 minutes. I think, like for me, I maybe I go back to Leicester collectively were a good team. Individually, they weren't. They didn't have.
Yeah, there wasn't. There was no legend.
They weren't great players, but Arsenal with the Invincibles, I think pretty much every position that on that team, they had great players.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Here's another question for you, Daniel. Yeah, and I think you like this one. How
sorry,
many legends?
quick question. If anybody on YouTube on the cart, if they have any questions, feel free to just to drop us a message and see if we can answer it. Sorry, go on, Faraz.
Yeah, I've got a question for you. Yeah. So the Arsenal Invincibles team. Let me just read out the list. All right, who were they? All right. I'm looking for this. Who's the team? Arsenal Invincibles. Carry on. All right, well, I got it. All right. So this is the lineup, yeah? Generally, the strongest lineup.
Okay.
Layman, yeah? Lauren, Campbell, Torre, Cole, Silva, Vieira, Pires, Ljungberg, Bergkamp, Henry, yeah? Now, the question I got, yeah, that team is packed of legends, with legends, all right? Yeah. I'm saying Vieira is a legend. 3.3 million pounds, yeah? Transformed the team around him. Henry took it to the next level. Bergkamp took it to the next level. Then Henry basically was the icing on that cake, and that's midfield to attack. At the back, Campbell, controversial signing from Tottenham. Yeah, Toure killing it. Lauren, solid. Cole, young Ashley Cole, getting to his stride.
Best in the world.
And Ashley Cole became the best in the world.
Yeah,
and he gets a lot of hate. He got a lot of hate for his move. Yeah, but people didn't, I know maybe people don't know, but they don't know. Yeah, he was the best in the world in that position for years. Yeah. After that, at Chelsea, he was the best in the world.
Yeah.
So this team here, there's at least 1, 2, 3, 4 legends. Yeah. How many legends? How many future legends are there in the current Man City team?
No, but that's the whole point.
Aguero.
Because, Aguero.
In the current City team. Well, I mean, I'm looking at. I think Silva could go on to be a legend. Aguero. Do I think De Bruyne? I don't know if De Bruyne will ever go down as a legend, because depending on how long he's. I don't know how long he's been at City for. He's been there a few seasons, but also internationally. Will Belgium ever? Sorry, what was that?
He's a sick player, though.
Yeah, but will Belgium ever take it up a notch to the point where every competition, whether it's the World Cup or Europe, that they'll be considered real title challenges? You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know if De Bruyne will, but I think for me, Aguero, with scoring over, I think it's 20 plus goals over 5 seasons consistently. I mean, come on. How many players can ever go down in history saying that? I mean, a handful, Henry and maybe a few others, Van Nistelrooy. I think Aguero will. I think Sterling, depending on where I guess, if he's consistent next season and the season, so I think Sterling will go down possibly as a legend.
I think Sterling could. Yeah. Let's say if he stays there his whole career and he keeps doing because he's only going to get better, right, Sterling?
Hopefully.
Hopefully. I hope so. So he can be a great player. But you're right, Faz. There aren't that many. But if you look at the United team, the one with like Beckham, Scholes, Keane, Giggs, you can say that whole midfield is just legendary. And then you go to the back, Rio, Vidic.
Yeah.
You tell me to your first point, Faze. Yeah, you tell me Kompany's better than Rio.
No, never. Exactly. No.
It depends. On what period are we talking, though? Are we talking
peak
about
Rio and peak Kompany?
Peak Rio, peak Kompany.
Peak Rio, come on, man. When we just signed him from
Rio was peak, though.
Peak. Yeah. Peak Jap Stam or peak Kompany?
Yep, Stam for me.
Stam any day.
Stam. Yeah, Stam for me. But and maybe that's the thing also. It's like for Kompany, he's generally been surrounded by good players, now world-class players. Whereas
go on.
Rio at times, I mean, he was surrounded by like Tom Cleverley at times. No disrespect if you're listening, Tom Cleverley. I mean,
he must be listening.
Asif from Leytonstone's back. Why go on, Asif?
And Asif says, Rio at QPR.
That was peak Rio.
I think that's when he was losing it at that time.
Yeah, but you think of Rio. Remember, Rio was from Leeds. Rio came from a good Leeds team.
Yeah.
And,
West Ham graduate, isn't it?
yeah, and he only got better.
Yeah.
So for me, and maybe that's the thing also. I think sometimes it's about who you're surrounded with helps you become a legend, because the team, the players help bring the team and improve the team, and that team becomes legendary as you do. So it's kind of like as I've said, for PSG or some of the other. Okay, PSG, for example, they'll say, "Oh, the defenders are great." No, they're not really great because they haven't been tested. They're playing against average teams. Just because they dominate a league, they're not necessarily great defenders. Put them in another league, and then we'll see how world class you really are.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got a question for you. Exactly. I've got a question for you, D. Would this PSG team go down as a team of legends?
No.
Is this a legendary team?
No, never.
No, never. And I think PSG teams will never go down in history as legendary teams because there's no competition. They're not really getting challenged. I think if a PSG team was to go down in history, they'd have to do it in the Champions League stage consistently for example, like Real Madrid. 3 years they've done it consistently. Could PSG do that? If they did, then we might be having a different discussion. But for now, no.
Yeah, and I only say even the local legends at PSG. You would say Ibra, right? Zlatan, and probably Thiago Silva from this team. That's it. 2 players, probably, right? Because he's been there for a long time. That's about it.
But FaZe, I can hit you a new one. Yeah. So we talked about the classification of legends, talent, will to win, etc. Local, national, international, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Some legends are complete outliers. Yeah. They
What do you mean?
have raw talent.
Yeah.
So it falls into the talent bracket. But because that raw talent is so frightening, they become legends just on talent alone. They don't need to make people better around them or whatever. That talent is so frightening.
So even if they didn't fulfill that talent?
No, but in most cases, they will fulfill that talent. Yeah. So they'll go through a career, have super talent. They won't win much because they could be in crappy teams, maybe like a Letizia or whatever. But I'm talking about like a level up. Yeah. And I'll hit you with the name. Yeah, you're not ready for the name. George Weah.
Oh, okay.
George Weah.
Yeah.
The man is a bona fide football legend. His talent when he broke into that when he went to that PSG team, was disgusting. European football did not see that before.
But what about when he took on the whole team for AC Milan?
Verona against Verona.
Yeah. And since then, I've never seen anything like it from the corner.
Scream.
I know.
And there's another one like that. So Ronaldinho. Yeah, I know he's won it at Brazil level and all of this stuff. The talent is so frightening.
Yeah.
It seems like they're playing a game that's different. It's like they're playing with children.
I know. It's like they're doing a Sunday league match. I totally agree.
You know, of course you've got Messi, you've got Maradona, you've got. I think there's Ibra. Yeah, definitely. There's a bracket of legend. There's a strata of legendary status that only belongs to these players, where it's the talent that's just raw. Zidane.
Let me ask you a question.
Cruyff.
Oh yeah.
Let me ask you a question. I'm going to throw a name in there, and you can tell me why I'm throwing a name in there.
Lee Trundle, that's the guy from Southend.
Trundle, that's it. Lee Trundle.
Lee Trundle.
If anyone doesn't know Lee Trundle, go and check it out on YouTube because he scored some legendary goals.
I'm going to throw a name out there, and maybe you can tell me why.
Yeah.
Darius Vassell.
Are you high in your tie-dye t-shirt, Dan?
No,
I know why. It's because it was Sven's pet. When Sven took over it,
he scored an individual goal almost from the halfway line.
Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, it might have been even before then, and I'm thinking, okay, and maybe that's the thing. Also, we need to separate like
consistency.
Exactly, because I mean,
consistency.
Because the reality is, Darius Vassell. After that, I mean, I think a lot of people question what happened to him, but I mean. But I think going back to the point about consistency and the talent, I think you're clearly right. I think I think George Weah, he did it consistently, and he did it for so many different clubs.
And I think he came to Chelsea a bit late. Again, it was a bit like Rio. He came a bit late, right, to Chelsea. But Kevin says in the chat that Arsenal was a team crammed with international legends, but they couldn't do it in Europe. But United team had less legends, So, but we could do it in Europe with like Teddy and Ole.
Ah,
So it's
you
a good
know,
point.
but no,
And
but
he
you
also
know
says
why?
Ledley King is a legend. Well, yeah, local legend.
Why? Ledley King. What
Wasn't
do
he
you
in
mean?
hospital most of the time?
Wait, Ledley King's a legend to who? Sorry, to his
Kevin.
family.
To Kevin.
His family.
No,
Maybe Kevin
you
can
know,
expand.
you know
Yeah.
they took out Ledley King's knees, yeah, because they were so bad
Mm.
before he stopped playing.
Yeah.
They're in
legend, Kevin
the
says.
Tottenham,
NHS legend.
then the
Yeah.
Spurs Museum, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess and he's an NHS legend. Okay, and I think we can all agree with that. But I mean, I'm
Because this,
not so
yeah,
Kev, whether that was just like a little joke or something, or because I mean, in all respect, I guess how was Ledley King? How was he a legend? And I don't know. Do you have to be? Do you have to play for a certain number of years consistently? Because that's another issue. Consistency wasn't Ledley King's friend, was it? I mean, so
You know
maybe
who
that's
was
another
Ledley King's
question.
friend? You know who was Ledley King's friend? Yeah,
Who?
you know,
Who?
it's a stretcher. That's the stretcher was Ledley King, Doctor
Yeah,
Stretcher
so that's the
himself.
thing. Maybe how would we define? Yeah, I don't know, but I think the current players in today's society, I think there will be a handful of players on their way out who will be remembered as legendary, iconic. I mean, iconic is almost like godlike. Like, you know what I mean?
So
It's like,
you'd put iconic higher than legendary.
yes, definitely, I would.
Interesting.
I would. I would. That's my thought, because I guess what I think anybody can be iconic, but I think from a footballer's perspective, I think an iconic individual would be somebody who will be always remembered. And I mean, obviously, you can kind of think of that almost like a legend, but I think iconic is in a different stratosphere.
But I'm going to switch this all up here. So this is what I've been thinking about, FaZe. Yeah.
Can I just say something before you switch it up quickly? Yeah. So did you know this week that Frank Ribery and Robben left Bayern Munich?
Yeah.
They had this big parade, right?
Yeah, they scored.
So legends, right? Both of them, obviously, right?
You know what's legendary about Robben?
Yeah.
You know what's legendary about Robben?
What?
His receding hairline. He's had that motherfucker since 14 years old.
The guys are
anyway,
carry on. No, both of them. No, but here's the thing. So they had Robben, Ribery, and they had this guy Rafinha, right?
Yeah,
who played like over 200 games. And this is my point. So Rafinha wasn't a first starter. He was in the squad, but he was considered with them guys as going down in history. Maybe not as legend, but going down in history with them guys. But when I saw that, that's when I thought about what, and then company, what is a legend? What's I just thought I'd throw that out there because those are iconic. Would you say, Dan, as well? Would you say iconic for Ribery?
For Robben and Ribery?
Yeah, or not, or just legend?
No. I mean, I don't even know if I'd put them down as legendary, to be honest.
I agree with you. I agree 100%.
Outside of the club?
No, I mean, I think to myself, no, because I don't think that either of those players could single-handedly turn a team around. And I think every team that they've been in, they've been surrounded by great players. Robben was in the same team as Lampard, Drogba.
Yeah.
I mean,
Andrew Flo.
Exactly. It helped when you had great players.
Oh, yeah.
Then Robben went on to PSG. Sorry, he went on to Bayern. I mean, Bayern, back in those days, nobody was competing for them. It's only this season that Dortmund almost kind of beat them, but obviously on the last day they didn't. But outside of that, I mean, I don't think those great, in my mind, they're not legends. I don't think. I think they'll be legends. I think they'll be legends in their country, but I don't think as
universally.
University. I don't believe that they'll be there. For me, I'll think they were great players, and then that's it.
Probably Robben more than Ribery. We're going fast.
All right, so both of you, I'm going to hit you with something that's real, So we a lot of our conversation is all about how we remember football, and we refer a lot to the players that we remember or the things that spark in our mind, because it's how we consumed football. So we played football a lot, and we consumed football through the TV. So I'm going to share my screen, FaZe. Don't worry, it's all legit. It's not NSFW. Right. All right, I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to pose something to you,
All right.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Okay. What am I looking at?
You're looking at.
I don't
Right,
think the guys at home. I don't think the watchers. Yeah, they can see it. Everyone can see it. Go on.
What am I looking at?
I mean, I'm looking at.
FIFA. Is it?
No, I'm looking at legendary / maybe a few iconic players.
Okay. So you got Baston, Baresi, Cruyff, Maldini, etc. So you look at that. Look at this top row here. Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's the
it's amazing.
FIFA.
Yeah.
That's the FIFA All
These are
Stars.
these are FIFA cards. Yeah. At the basic level, these are FIFA cards.
I don't know if Lineker would make it, but okay.
So the question I have is the consumption of football today. There's a convergence between, football has stopped becoming the common man's game a long time ago. People can't afford to go to games. Yeah. A lot of kids now, many millions of children around the world, teenagers, young adults, even adults, whatever, they consume football in terms of playing, in terms of their interaction with the sport, outside of watching games when they can. Forget going to games, if they get lucky to go to games, wicked. But a lot of their consumption of the subject of world football is through FIFA.
Yeah.
So my question to you both, in 10 years' time, when these kids, so some of these kids have never seen Ronaldo play or Maldini or whatever.
Well, yeah, any of them. Yeah.
The concept of legend would be the player that shows up and reps for them in their FIFA 19 game. Because their interaction with football as a subject is through FIFA, right? So you see a lot of when you're around young people, they're trading cards, trading players, such and such is a legend, such and such is a legend. Yeah. The concept of legend in football, I think, will change from more being based on actual real
commercially
people
as well.
No, yeah, commercially, but in terms of looking at the concept of legend, it will go from being based on actual people, so human beings, to their digitized counterpart who will never die. Yeah. Hullet will never die. In 100 years' time, there will be a Hullet FIFA card. Yeah. And he will still be alive in terms of people interacting with a digitized Hullet version on screen.
Yeah.
So our concept of legend, our concept of legend is seeing Ruud Hullet play at his peak, the 1988 European Cups. Yeah, the guy was a beast. Him, Van Basten, Frank Rijkaard, beast. But we remember that because we lived through that. Yeah. These guys will remember the game against their mates or online where Hullet turned up for them there. So you see what I'm trying to say? The concept of legend is going digital.
No, it's true. And the thing is, right?
And I think that's interesting. That's very
but it's kind of disappointing because, like you said, we saw Ruud Hullet. So we would talk back in the day and we would say, even to our parents and uncles or cousins, we were like, this guy is a legend. You're watching a legend. But now through FIFA, they already stipulate to the kids who is a legend by getting a gold card. So they already label that person as a legend.
I agree with that. I agree. FIFA stipulate a lot of that.
Yeah.
Whereas for us, I agree. Whereas for us, I mean, even for Baggio, you're right. A lot of these kids. Also, sorry, I just realized. Obviously, there was a message that they were from Hazel, 20 Hazel.
Big up yourself, Hazel.
It was about I think it was going back to Ledley King legend. They just thought that comment was deep. That he's an NHS legend.
I still want you to come and explain that, right? Why he's a legend. Yeah.
We need some questions from the. Sorry, we need some questions from the.
Put your questions in the chat.
Yeah, but I think you're right. I think for us, and maybe that's why. And in time, those legends will possibly phase out of FIFA onto new legends. And those legends will be, they will be in the era that we've probably watched. So at some point, Steven Gerrard will become a legend. I genuinely believe
Gerrard is a legend.
Gerrard will be a legend on FIFA in give it a few years, he will become a legend. But I think you're right. I think for FIFA, what we see as legendary players, they were actually players that for us, they were players who were playing in our era and our generation, like Baggio. I mean, Baggio for me, I think Baggio will probably be legend / iconic.
Yeah,
I genuinely believe that because of what he's done on all levels.
Yeah,
on all levels.
No, but that's the thing, Faz. With Faz's list, the majority of those players you can say are actually iconic. They're higher than legend.
They are.
Cruyff and people like that. That's like
they are.
they've named entire, a whole Ajax system after Cruyff, right? And
Yeah.
players like that. So,
But Gerrard is an icon on FIFA. He's got an icon card.
oh, they actually have that. I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Or do you think, or maybe this is it also, just like cinema ratings have changed over the years. So what used to be an 18 is now deemed a 15, and what's deemed a 15 is now deemed a 12.
Yeah.
Do you think that's the status for football also, in that how players are rated has changed in terms of what might have been an iconic player in the 80s and the 90s? It's now, or should I say this actually, to become a legendary player, it's not as difficult now as it was maybe 20 years ago.
That's interesting.
Because what Baggio and
it's not
all those guys have done now,
Yeah.
people who are jumping on the footballer wagon or critics, for them, the status to become a legendary player possibly is a lot easier. Maybe they deem it as now, you've won the Champions League maybe once or twice, you've won the league, whatever, automatically you move into that stratosphere of being a legendary player. Whereas for like Van Basten and, like Gullit, Baggio, all those guys, I mean, they were consistently doing it.
Yeah.
And
we
maybe that's it.
We got a comment from Kev. He says, Faraz is spot on. Kids don't go football, and people actually go to football matches. Actually, people can't afford to go, and it's how football is consumed. But I agree with you, Dan. And it comes down to not only consumption of football, it comes down to reporting on football as well. So today, if you look at a lot of the rhetoric in the press, some dude has a decent half season, and they're suddenly talking to him about him as world class. Yeah, because they need to. It's clickbait. They need to sell those paper. There's, it's all about AdSense. Yeah. So and the information flows quicker now. Back in the day when Baggio scored that goal at the World Cup, we had to wait until the highlights, or we had to wait to watch that. Yeah, we had to be in front of our TVs. Information flows fast. Information flows faster today.
You're so right.
So the classification of things is quicker because you have to get those clicks quicker.
Yeah, and also, exactly. It's become, everything's commercial now, and business. It's reflected. And
we've got comments. We've got questions. We've got comments actually. One by Kelly, and Kelly said, "Passion has left football, so it's more about fame and celebrity status." And I think, I think passion left football.
But what passion is that, Kelly? Is that the passion of the fans, or is that the passion of the players? I think the players turn up 100%.
I think First of all, thanks for your comment. I think that like Fahad said, is it about the players? Because I was also reading something the other day how they say that characters have gone from the game now.
They're all on their
players are so much more robotic, right? So let us know what you think. Yeah.
But then I think also the second point is, so it's more about for fame and celebrity status. And I think for a lot of the top footballers, I would agree with that, because nowadays players are marketed. So for them, if they become more marketable, obviously their status rises. And I think nowadays that's why you're seeing a lot of footballers in so many different environments, in terms of their circle has enlarged now because of their status. So like, for example, a classic example, David Beckham.
Yeah.
Because of his fame and his celebrity status level that he attained, very few footballers.
No, he was the first one, man.
Very few footballers
can
do that, but they want to now. They want to. So in regard to Kelly's, I definitely agree with the second point, that a lot of them, it's more about fame and celebrity. I totally agree. And it's almost like for them now, they're trying to branch over to maybe the music industry, or they're trying to move in different circles that possibly they weren't necessarily possible before. So
but the thing is, Dan, is that with David Beckham, he had talent, right? And he was consistent, and he won things. So the celebrity thing, he could parallel them both. But the great example today, when you look like Lingard, when you look at Paul Pogba gets it the worst out of everybody for his celebrity status, for his Instagram, for his Twitter and things like that. But is he doing on the pitch necessarily? Is he performing to the standard that we think? No. So it's more for them about their own celebrity status. So I agree with Kelly there. And as Steve says, passion of players like Roy Keane, you don't see anymore on the pitch. Absolutely. You don't see characters anymore.
But I want to go back to Kelly's second point, because I think it's important. Celebrity status. these kids, they get millions, very early on, and they haven't even hit the first team yet. They got, and forget the millions, forget the money, because it's not about that really. It's about passion for the game. Now, if you look at what happens to them when they sign a contract, professional contract, whatever, they get brands, fighting, especially if you've got something a little bit different about you, or whatever. You've got brands fighting to give you stuff to sign contracts. You're already getting money from outside of football. Why would you need to turn up? But I think there's a really good parallel and a really good example of just commitment in a different sport. Lewis Hamilton. I love Lewis Hamilton. I love Lewis. You know why? Lewis Hamilton's mindset is disgusting. The man's a beast. He knows he's got talent. And he's pursuing all kinds of stuff outside fashion with Tommy Hilfiger and music, and he's all up in there with the rappers and the hip hop superstardom, all of that stuff. But he turns up every single week, and he destroys the field. And I want him to.
I love Lewis Hamilton.
I want him to beat Schumacher's record.
So do I.
Because he will show them that you can have it all.
No, but he's a lot like Raheem Sterling, because when he came, you had Jenson Button. Do you remember?
Yeah, of course.
And a lot of people were sucking up to Button.
I know.
And then he just, and then Hamilton. I remember watching Hamilton in, which is going off football completely, whatever. Watching Hamilton.
What, Hamilton the show?
In Blue Peter. You remember? You ever see that, Don? When he was like 7, 8 years old, right?
Yeah.
With his dad taking him go. No, Lewis Hamilton's on another level. Can I just,
We've got more questions. Go on,
I'll read Kevin's. You can read
because Kelly's come back about her point. But go on, Fine.
Yeah, so thanks, Kev. So you've come back and brought up something that we haven't talked about. So Ledley's 100% local, did a lot for the club, but does more for the community. He's worshipped in Tottenham. The stuff he does in schools and with disadvantaged kids is brilliant. Local legend status, and we missed that part out.
No, I agree with that.
The people that and the extracurricular activities that they do outside the pitch makes them a legend. It's a fair point. No, we didn't pick up.
No, it's a fair point. But what colour is his wheelchair when he goes to the schools? That's the question. Do they have a ramp?
You could say he was already in the hospital, so doing charity work in the hospital is easy, right? But no, I'm just saying, schools. I don't know what he's doing in schools.
Okay,
he just reached over to the next bed, right? But,
oh my God.
Do you want to read Kelly's?
Kelly's hitting us with hashtag granddads,
John.
Okay, so I'll read Kelly's most recent one because it ties in. She says some of the viewers are too young to remember Blue Peter. Hello, granddads. So
it's true.
Granddad.
Thank you, Kelly. Blue Peter's still on though, right? It's still
24.
On. Yeah.
Okay, so then Kelly's other message was passion. She was referring to passion from the players. So when she said passion has left, passion from the players, I definitely agree with that. Everything is about branding and endorsement. Do you think players are more concerned about their brand than actually being a respected player that will go down in history?
Absolutely.
But this point is interesting because a lot of players care about the brand and all of this stuff. And we're not generalizing. Some players actually use half the day they don't train to go to university. And I think Company is a very interesting example of that. He got an MBA while at Man City because he realized he only trains for half a day. When other people are working regular jobs, he went to university. And I think that's wicked. So not all players are like that, but the majority of players you see in the public eye, they're all about the brands, which is why it's easier for somebody like Aguero, who's just a passionate machine, to show it week in, week out, because he's playing with other players who just switched off in some cases. Because they're thinking about the new headphones that's arriving in the post or whatever. But the playing field is not level, I think, in terms of passion. I think it's a good point.
I think so. And maybe for those players who the passion, like they've had that passion because maybe they've come from a deprived background or their childhood, and they knew that for them football was their way out, so that was their passion. It was all or nothing. Whereas I think, so I would say that, and this is probably, correct me if I'm wrong, but you tend to find more African players with passion than you do with English players, because,
and South American as well.
South American, because for a lot of English players, they feel entitled. They feel entitled. They feel entitled that they should.
That's a different podcast.
That's a different show, but it's
show, man.
It's
but the good point.
Great.
I wanted to say that you know, it's a very good point. So you got a lot of passion from, or you should have a lot of passion from those kids who grew up in very, very bad environments and very impoverished. But then that's also a driver for some of the European kids, like Cantona. He was so poor, he didn't even have a football. He was kicking a sock in the street. Yeah. Same with Zidane. He was kicking, you know, he didn't afford, they couldn't afford anything.
Yeah.
And it goes to show, because when they step onto that pitch, they know why they're there. Yeah. And in some ways, if you read, there's a really good article in the Players Tribune that Lukaku did a few months back, and it's amazing. He talks about how his family was so poor in Belgium, and he knew he had to make it. He knew he had to make it.
Yeah.
You know, forget legendary status or whatever. Those players, they still turn up and they still do it. They try.
It's a shame he can't control the ball anymore. But yeah, no. But he in the beginning,
it's all the sweets, isn't it, and chocolates.
It's all the Instagram.
Baby face Ole is getting.
It's not that. It's all his new music videos, isn't it? It's grime videos.
Yeah, it's a grime video.
What's that about?
It's Stormzy, innit?
Stormzy.
What is he on? Is he doing music now?
No,
Well, no, that's
the newspaper mixed them up, innit?
Newspaper mixed them up. So obviously, Lukaku's coming out with tracks, and Stormzy's putting on the jersey for Man U.
But nobody knew the difference. If
Exactly.
So bad.
I mean, that speaks volumes, though, isn't it? I mean, that speaks a lot of volumes about how they
That's
view.
Asif from the Leytonstone roundabout has got a question. He says, best goalkeeper to grace the Premier League.
Man,
Asif,
I think.
Asif, what do you think? Asif, what do you think?
Yeah, guys in the chat, what do you think?
What do you think? Best goalkeeper to grace the Premier League.
We'll react to you guys.
Grace us with this one. Grace us.
Yeah. But
okay, well, maybe he's gone. Maybe he's gone, or he's sleeping. Asif from Leytonstone. I don't know, but for me,
so what do you think? What do you think?
I think Man U probably has seen, and it could be. For me, it could be a couple of keepers from Man U. I'm thinking Van der Sar. I'm thinking Van der Sar's up there.
Yeah.
I'm definitely thinking Van der Sar.
Schmeichel, man.
Yeah, Schmeichel. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Asif says Schmeichel.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'd agree. Best goalie in the Premier League, not only because of his skills as a keeper, but his leadership. Like the players would say, even Rio and strong players would say, they didn't have any doubt that if the ball went past them, Schmeichel was there. He would organize. Yeah. Remember how he would shout? No one does that these days.
No.
You would hear him on the TV, like shouting at people and even cussing them. Why?
No, I think the best goalkeeper in the Premier League, just for that save against Rapid Vienna in the Champions League, is Schmeichel.
Yeah, Schmeichel. For me, he did it. He did it internationally. He did it for Man U. I mean, he's for me definitely.
Did you ever have a legendary goalie at Liverpool?
Bruce Grobbelaar, mate.
Of course.
What, Bung? Mr. Bung himself?
Bruce Grobbelaar.
Was he legendary? Down the bookies?
He made the saves. He won the bet. Winner, chicken dinner, mate.
Yeah. Chicken dicker.
I don't know about
telling contribution there.
But I mean, now, do I think Liverpool had any?
Who did they have during the before Grobbelaar, when they were actually winning stuff? Mate. Who was it?
No, we had Grobbelaar. Grobbelaar was the keeper that
won the European Cups and that.
Yeah.
When you were winning you won the European Cups in like the early 90s or whenever, Doug Leash and all that era.
Whenever.
Well, look, I don't keep tabs on Liverpool when you win your 2 trophies. Yeah.
What, 5 European Cups?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
For about Seaman.
So
what? Would you say David Seaman?
Oh,
is a legendary goalie.
What do you mean randomly? What about Seaman? That's a different chat.
That's a different chat. A different show. Let me close that window.
Do I think David? I don't think so. I don't think so personally.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think.
Who else in the Premier League then, apart from Schmeichel, would you say is legendary goalie?
What? Oh, you mean from that
in
time
history.
to now, or just in general?
In general. They weren't as hard, right?
What, in the Premier League or in the world?
In Premier League history.
Premier League.
That's Schmeichel, man.
Just one.
Yeah, no. I think the current keepers have the potential. Like I think Edison and I think Alisson, they have I think they have the potential.
I think De Gea still has the potential.
De Gea's a muppet, man.
Why?
I can't stand De Gea. I can't stand.
Why?
No, he's good. He's good. He's good. He saved. De Gea the saves that he's done. I mean, he's kept you guys in games single-handedly.
Yeah.
But this season he's been a bit wobbly because he wants that move, isn't it?
He's been wobbly, but you can't really help it for. Yeah, I mean, but he's been great, right? For so many.
I don't know. I've never really rated De Gea. I don't really.
He's done some of his saves. I mean, I have to give him that. He's a great keeper.
I don't know. I'm not really feeling De Gea.
Is he the best in the league now? No, I don't think he is.
I think Becker every day. Becker's a much better keeper.
Who?
And
I think Becker is.
Alisson.
I think Becker is, but they go for Edison. People have gone for
Edison's
Edison.
a wicked player.
You know Edison, right? He could probably play in midfield and be better than a lot of midfielders.
Yeah.
He's so good on the ball. It's scary.
I know his accuracy. They said
Yeah.
that's what helped City. For him, he's almost like, because of his accuracy, his passing accuracy, they can ping the ball quickly from one end of the pitch to another and change defense quickly into attack.
Yeah.
No, but it's what he was saying. It's what we were saying last week, that the keepers now are sweeper keepers, isn't it? So
they have to do that, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So it's interesting chat. Then talked about the legendary players, what the classifications is of that. I guess it's open to. I guess it's pretty still subjective, right? Especially these days with the celebrity status of.
I think it's what it means to you. At the end of the day, it's how you experience.
Yeah, like Ledley King, right? Like how Kevin says Ledley King's worshipped at Tottenham, like locally. Then that's fair enough, isn't it?
I'm looking at when I drive past the new ground actually in Tottenham. I'm going to look for that Ledley King statue. Yeah, but I have to look for the wheelchair like Professor X.
You might find it in the hospital.
Yeah,
the hospital around the corner. Yeah. But I don't think
Ledley King's got more metal than Magneto.
Cool. All right. So I want to say thanks to everyone in the chat for their questions again this week.
Thank you, chat.
Our new subscribers are
very good. Very good. Really
Kelly,
appreciate it.
Kevin, Asif, everyone who was
smash that like.
Smash that like, subscribe, support me on Patreon. I have to put that in. And Darnell Faz, nice one.
Do we get some of that Patreon gold?
Well, I need to get it first, isn't it? So
10% of 0, isn't it?
Yeah, so we'll be starting another. Please check out my channel because I've got different series on different topics, not just football, and we'll be starting a podcast soon as well.
And the next one could possibly be all of us in the same room.
Yeah, possibly.
With clothes on,
and we'll do a Champions League special. But we've got one last question, Faraz. Do you want to read it out?
Bale to Man United next season.
It's from Monster. There's Bale to Man United next season. Blimey, you threw a spanner in the works there. Kevin said he's loved the show. Thanks, Kev.
Let's give it 5 more minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll give it 5 more minutes.
I don't need to go.
Bale to go to Man U. I can't, like, even though he's probably legendary at Madrid. Like, let's put that in there. But
no, shut up.
He won't.
The man won 3 European Cups.
No.
Overhead kick in the final.
I know, but that's not.
Legendary moment.
And they want to transfer him. Nah, he's not. He's not legendary. Yeah. He's never going to go down. They don't even like him.
Huh?
Legendary moments, but not legendary player at Madrid.
Yeah.
No way. No
but
way.
You think he'll come to Man U? Done.
He'll go to Tottenham. He'll join Ledley in the wheelchair.
He won't go. He won't go because his salary. Nobody's willing to pay his high salary.
Yeah.
Bale's happy to sit. He's happy to do an Adebayor and train with the little kids. He's happy to do that. He's happy to do that because he's on such a nice paycheck. Yeah. No other team's going to pay that amount.
Yeah, but
so you're saying that Bale's doing a Michael Jackson then?
Well, that's another topic there also.
No, I think that Bale. What's he going to do at Man United, man? You know,
one man can't change. He needs Man U need more than Bale, and that's the reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think Bale's going to play 60 games a season? Sorry, you don't have Champions League. You think Bale's going to play 44 games a season? Yeah, come on. You're going to be spending. Bale's a waste of money. It's a waste of money.
He's still under contract though, right? So he's still going to cost a lot of money, isn't he?
Exactly.
Although he's a bit older, it's not worth it. You could. There's much better players that we can spend 50 grand on if we had to, right?
If Babyface pulled the trigger on Bale, you might as well just give up and support Salford. Salford did well this season.
I know they come up to
in the league. Class of '92 know how to run a club.
So Asif says his career's finished. Too many injuries. That's interesting as well because he has had a few injuries in the last few years, right? Monster says as well, no point anyone going to Man U, but that doesn't stop them. I read Fergie called up Solskjaer after their last game and said, "What was that?"
no, but Saeed
needs to stay away, man.
Saeed has
Fergie
a good
needs
point.
to go back into the stands.
Fergie is puppeteering OGS from behind the scenes.
If
you look closely, there are thin strands, all over OGS's body, and Fergie is the puppet. It's bad. It's bad.
It's an old boys club at United.
Fergie should just walk away. Train his racehorses. And leave the thing to OGS.
Yeah. It's like that moment in the BBC that was on YouTube a few years ago. I thought someone would go in the room there, but no, you're right.
So then, do you think OGS will be there next season? Then
I hope not. I hope he's gone by Christmas.
Isn't that a bit of a joke? You give him a contract and then you just sack him.
No, but Dan, the whole thing is a joke. We're getting a bit like Arsenal now because we don't know who's making the decisions at United. First of all, who on the board is doing it? That's why they want a director of football because we gave Phil Jones a 5-year contract.
Yeah, I mean
Phil Jones.
I mean, I think we all know about Sunday League Phil Jones. Come on,
and for me, as soon as they gave Sanchez that amount of money, it was all over for United. It was we're done.
Did you think that though? Because I know Man U guys who are jumping, thinking, "Oh, we've got a steal here. This is great," and then just didn't work out.
It's just the whole thing. I think Pogba needs to go. I think we need a mass clear out, and like I said last week, we need to humble ourselves down and just sign players like Lewis Dunk and James Maddison, and start all over again. Give it a free.
You think Paul Pogba, World Cup winner, should leave Man U?
Yes, he should leave. There's too much attention on Paul Pogba. Even though statistically he's been our best player, there's too much.
No, but Faze,
and Ole can't handle those types of players.
I disagree. I think world-class players should stay at Man U because if you start signing crap like James Maddison, no, I'm saying that if you start signing crap, you're going to start slipping down the table. Yeah, you're going to do a Nottingham Forest. What's important? Look at how they treated Pogba. Pogba never trained with the reserves. Yeah, if this was any other manager, they would have slapped Pogba with a 1-month ban from the first team and trained with the reserves for all of his antics.
Yeah,
humble him down a bit. There's no punishment. Being meted out to these players,
and there's no leadership in the dressing room.
So of course they're going to take the piss.
There's no one to shout. There's no Roy Keane or people. No. Even people like Company, right? Different character, Roy Keane, but he's a leader. Like everyone in the squad looks up to. United, we got nothing at United. You
need. See, this is why Vincent Kompany, he was that figure. That he was that leader.
And you got to think the character of the man as well. That's what people talk about. The leadership qualities, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch, like Kevin was saying.
But this is how. See, if you think of Pogba, he's still young. Yeah, he's still malleable. You can train him to become an amazing leader on the pitch, but he needs a leader as a manager. Yeah, there's a difference between management and there's a difference and leadership. Yeah, management is a very, it's a task-based thing. Mm-hmm. Leadership is a human-based activity. Mm-hmm. Yeah, people do things because you're a good leader, not because of the task you put in front of them. Yeah. Fergie was a leader. When all that trouble with Beckham and everything, Beckham had to train with the reserves. Yeah, Fergie wasn't having that. He'll drop him from the team tomorrow. That's a sign of a good leader. Paul Pogba posts some crap on Instagram or whatever. Yeah, he's in the first team the next week. So what incentive is there for him to stop?
Yeah,
but then, I think the point is also for a lot of footballers now, because of social media, they have to be very mindful of what they say, but at the same time, reporters and journalists, they'll try and trap them. And you've got to still remember, these guys are in their early 20s, some of them. Yeah. They're still young. They're young.
Yeah. And it's we got some comments in the chat. So Asif saying Bale's career is finished, too many injuries. I agree with that. Side saying, hopefully company leaving for Anderlecht will return some balance in the PL. Potentially. And we got poor management style. Yeah, definitely massive.
Poor management style. If you're right, he has no talent at this level. I don't have any confidence in Ole, apart from the hope that he gave us for 2 months. That was it. Should never have given him a contract. And then Saeed comes back again, as in what he's mentioning by company leaving to bring some balance to the Premier League is as in allow some competition at least for the top 3. It's been a 2-horse race for a while before.
Well, so basically, what Saeed is saying is we need a balance in the force.
Yeah,
that's
basically
obviously what he's saying with the midichlorians. But then when Star Wars is so screwed anyway, it's pretty difficult to find a balance in anything.
Yeah, right thanks for your comment.
So Ledley King has piped up again. Sorry, Kevin.
Yeah.
So Ledley's saying Ole needs time. This problem ain't his doing, and he needs some time. Fergie's got it. Give it to Ole. Yeah, he needs time. I agree. Give him some time.
Oh, he's given the contract. So let's see, Don. What do you think? He'll be there for Christmas?
But personally, I think, and that's the thing with the Premier League now, is that you don't have time because you don't have time to see if a manager's going to help the team, because after a certain number of matches, if you see them slipping down the pecking order, you want to try and reverse that as soon as possible, because the reality is that actually you give them more time, it just might allow more time for them to keep slipping down the table, or you bring somebody in who's possibly available, and then you hope that person can make a change. And a lot of times that tends to happen. Solskjaer was a classic example. Mourinho, they got rid of him. Solskjaer came in. Everybody was happy for a while, and then in reality, actually, he's got the record for the worst number of losses in a row. So and I think ending and losing to Cardiff, I think it was like 2-0 on the last day. I think that speaks volumes.
Yeah,
but I think. Go on. I think that what you're saying is right. Yeah, people don't get time. Managers don't get time. But if Alex Ferguson started his career today, he would have gotten sacked. Yeah, his record in the beginning at United was rubbish.
Yeah, definitely.
It was absolutely rubbish.
Cool. All right, Don. Anything you want to add to that before I close it off?
No, I just think that I think this season hopefully should be better. I think it will be a turning point for Man U, depending on whether they get new players, a new manager, who they sign, who they sell. I think for Man U, this will be a make or break season for them, because if they get rid of the key players, ideally big clubs attract big players.
Exactly.
If you get rid of Pogba and maybe Sanchez, you have no other big names.
Yeah, we're guaranteed then mid-table, right? Yeah, so you might as well keep to what you have, like Farah says.
You never know.
You never know. Cool, guys. Right. Well, thanks everyone.
Same time next week.
Comment, like, and subscribe. And
smash that like.
I guess we're going to try and hopefully we'll try and get on the couch. We'll try and get on the couch. Okay, let me rephrase that.
Yeah. Talked about it.
Some couch action next Sunday.
Yeah, hopefully we can we can all be in the same room and we'll all catch up. So yeah, okay.
Yeah. Thanks everyone.
Yeah, thanks everyone. All right, take care. All right, bye.
Bye.